It's time to hear the story, make the connection, learn the lesson, and gain the wisdom. Are you ready? Let's get charged and be changed. The Sister Speak Brother Break Show. Conversations on grace, healing, and deliverance. This is Marcy Bush. Come on, let's journey together.
I got married, and then he was in the military.
Okay.
And we went to California.
Okay.
So I got married.
How old were you when you got married?
Hold on, I'm thinking now. I was 19.
Wow.
I was 19 when I got married. But he took care of me.
Okay.
He took care of me like I had not been taken care of.
Okay.
I was tired of taking care of myself. I was tired of trying to figure out what I was going to eat, how I'm going to keep these lights on, how am I going to do this. It was a constant me figuring out what was next.
Okay.
And he took care of me.
Okay.
Little did I know that I gave up all of my independence for the comfort of a father.
Okay.
He was more, it was more gratitude.
Because that's what I was about to say when you say he took care of me.
He took care of me.
I was saying, Daddy came back on the scene.
He took care of me. And I gave up a lot of myself because he was taking care of me. I had my son in 1990 in California.
Before you move on, did you realize at that time that you were giving up one for the other, or it just felt so good?
It felt so good
to be able to. Okay.
It was like that. Whew.
Yeah. So you weren't even aware.
Not aware
that
at all.
Roz was fading.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. And I then Roz is fading while I become a wife and a mother. Now she's really fading, and I think I had Jordan in 90. The beginning of 92 is when my brother died.
Okay. Okay.
I've been good this whole time, and I'm gonna stay fine.
Tell you, look, you ain't got to be strong. You got to be real, cause real recognizes real. So there's somebody who's watching this, and they need to know that vulnerability is okay.
Woo, that was. People always ask me, what was the hardest? And you know, a child's supposed to bury their parent. Burying a sibling was the worst time of my life. 92 was a blur. Brian died in February. I was drunk the rest of the year.
Okay.
The rest of the year.
Okay. And you were still in California?
Still in California.
Okay.
We were in California when they called and told me, because my brother committed suicide.
Okay.
He committed suicide after he killed my niece's mother.
Okay.
So it was so much. It was so much, and not even, by that time I'm dealing with my own stuff. Stuff was just coming up.
Okay.
Because marriage is not easy.
Right.
And then a marriage that was built on falsities it made it even worse. And then I compounded it with my son, who was the greatest thing that has ever happened to me, by the way.
Yeah.
But then that happened, and I think that's when I realized that I had lost me. I had lost me in that moment, and I came back from that, and by that time now I'm manipulative.
Okay.
I'm manipulative. This will never happen to me again.
Okay.
I was tired by that point.
Okay.
And when you have all three of those in one little body, and if you talk about I'm little now, I was probably size 4.
Okay.
I was little. Just because I wasn't eating. My dinner was gin, I think, at the time.
Okay.
At the time. If it was a club open, I was in it.
Okay. And your son was how old at that time?
Jordan was 1, about to turn 2 that October.
Okay.
And I promised the only reason he knew I was his mother because I was breastfeeding. I promise you.
Okay.
Because if it was a club open, like I said, I was in it.
Okay.
The babysitters potty trained him.
Okay.
That's when I was like, I gotta find me. You know, at this point, Rosalyn, you have a whole child. But I was trying to find me.
Right.
In all the wrong places. I'm trying to still feel comfort. I think at that point I realized that the marriage wasn't ideal. It wasn't ideal. I can't say that my ex-husband didn't love me.
Right.
I believe he did. But like you said, hurt people hurt people. And he had his own stuff that he was dealing with and probably never dealt with.
Right.
Not saying that he's not dealt with it since, but at that point, we're two unfixed people trying to live this complete life.
And that's the majority of the world. That's the majority of marriages.
And I know I was telling, I told you, I'm writing a book and my niece was reading it, and one part of it I was saying, if somebody tells you they complete you, or you complete them, I said you need to run for the hills because they need to come to you complete.
Yes.
They come to you broken, you're going to feel that.
That's right.
You're going to feel it. And both of us were broken, and so our marriage was broken.
And you said you were 22 at that time?
I was about to turn 22.
Okay.
When Brian died.
10 to 22, so that's 12 years of pent up, grown, like
grief.
but manifested in different ways. And then when that hit, it was like, I ain't trying to be strong no more.
I turned it around to, I took my anger and used that as strength.
Okay.
I equated that with strength.
Okay.
But when it would come out, it was something I'm not particularly proud of.
Okay.
But I thought that was strength.
Okay.
Because I've been told all my life, you're so strong. Not really knowing what that was.
Okay.
Survival does not necessarily mean that you're strong. You just survive. And you probably didn't survive by your own merit.
Right.
I survived simply because grace. That was it. Grace and so much mercy.
Yeah.
So much mercy.
Yeah.
I did so many things incorrectly. So many things.
So many of us trying to survive.
Yeah, and that's
trying to go beyond the voices, trying to I know for me, and I think there's so much that goes on internally. Like I said, there are some outward manifestations, but they're the manifestations of what's going on internally, trying to get out of that body.
I know. It's almost like when a duck is going and it seems so calm at the top. Everything looks fine.
Yes.
But up under
yes.
That's what it was like inside my head. It was,
yes. When did that start to have a little more, smoother strokes? How long were you in that I really don't care
free
state?
fall?
Yeah. How long were you there? From 22 to what?
To 50.
Really?
From 22 to 50.
Okay.
And I can say from 10 to 50.
But 50 didn't look, I didn't know you at 22. But 50 didn't look like 22 to us. So
it looked like that
was
duck on
there
the top.
Was there, but there had to be some gradual rise. Did you, what was your evolution like? Because where you were at 22, maybe internally, but you did, like, okay, so You had finished college.
Well, I
were
went
you
back
working?
to college.
Okay.
So when in California, the marriage was falling apart. It had fallen apart by my hand and his. And I needed to get back to the East Coast, which was my thinking, because I've always been a control person. I've got to be in control of this, so I've got to get back on the East Coast. We got back together long enough for me to get back on this side where I knew somebody. When we got back on this side, and we actually came to Georgia. He was at Fort Gordon. We got to Georgia, and that's where we got divorced. I've always worked, little here, little there. But when we got divorced, I gotta get me something to support me and my child, because he was supporting me. And so I started working in the plants. I worked at Owens Corning. I worked there, and when I was there, Jordan, he hadn't started school yet. And it was his father and I it was like we were splitting him down the middle. And when I was at Fiberglass, I worked swing shifts. So when I was on long weekend and first shift, I would have my son. When I was on second and third, he would be with his dad. So we did that for the longest, and after I can't do this anymore. I've got to do something else where I could sustain myself and we could be okay. That's when I went back to school. And I went back to school, got my bachelor's, started teaching.
Do you feel like your mind had begun to change?
I felt like I had.
Had some of those mechanisms, like the drinking, the clubbing, had those things subsided?
Nah, I was still going to the club. I was still drinking heavily. I don't want to say that. I don't think I've ever been a heavy drinker. I've been a consistent drinker.
There you go. Got it.
I've been a consistent drinker.
You could time it to when you were going to do it.
I'm gonna take care of my business first, but then it's gonna be a bottle in the cabinet.
So when you're ready.
When I'm ready. But I went, and I thought I was doing okay, because the outside looked fine. It's only when trauma hits that beast comes up.
Gotcha.
So as long as there's no trauma, I'm fine. The issue is you have to fix something. So because trauma's gonna come.
Oh, it's coming, honey.
It's gonna come.
Yes.
So, and you can't act a fool every time trauma comes. So what are you gonna do? I didn't have that mindset until I was 50. When I was tired.
You didn't know you needed healing.
I didn't realize I needed healing until I got under Bishop Hezekiah Presley Jr. I didn't realize I needed what I needed until I got under him.
How did you get here?
Oh gosh. I always tell everybody my life was just a chessboard. I think the Lord just set up pawns and kings and soldiers and stuff. When I started teaching, my first year teaching, I was at Glen Hills Middle School. And my first year, I was teaching social studies. And I was on a team of it was 2 gentlemen and it was another female that was going to be teaching on that team. And apparently, let the story be told. Apparently, another person was interested in one of the gentlemen that was on the team that I was going to be on. Saw me at the school while they were touring, giving me a tour where my classroom was going to be and this, that, and another, and didn't want me on that team with them because they didn't want, the new girl to be over there. And so that team, those 2 gentlemen, told the principal, we don't want her on the team. They told them that I was an old white woman at Glen Hills Middle School. They told them that, and so they went and said, well, we don't want her on our team. So they put me on the other team. And on that other team was Regina.
Okay.
And she was my team leader.
Okay.
Miss Ball. She was my team leader. And when I say they prayed them first couple of years for me, oh my gosh. Gina could tell you better stories than I could. But she was my team leader and we became friends. And we're still friends. And I don't even know what prompted her. But she was like, you need to come to church with me. And I went to church with her one Sunday. And I remember we were up front. We were up front because she had Andre with her. So we were up front. And I remember Bishop read me from the head to toe. And I remember looking at her like, you saying something to him. And she was like, I ain't say nothing to him. She was like, that's just what he does. That's just he knows. He knows. And I was like, oh my God. It was something that was so alluring to me. And I don't think I came back the next week because I probably was scared, like, oh gosh, what is he gonna pull out next? But I eventually just started coming, and I was going to another church, but it's almost like I needed different sustenance. I needed.
How did you get in the church? Were you in church when you were younger?
Yeah, we grew up in the church. I grew up in the Church of Christ. Okay. So we did church.
Okay. So church was not foreign to you.
No. The church wasn't foreign. Spirituality was. Yeah. Relationship was.
Right. Getting what you needed, being fed what you needed for
me individually.
Right.
But church was, we went every Sunday.
Okay.
Every Sunday, we were at the church. My mother was a participant in the church. I was there from Bible Sunday school.
Okay.
And if we were there all day, we were there all day. I mean, we were in church.
Okay.
But it was never a relationship.
Gotcha.
I never got true teaching about how to live. We got stories.
Yes.
This is what happened. You know, we heard all the stories of Daniel in the lion's den. And we heard all the stories, but it was never applied to how am I going to do this right now.
Right.
Give me the metaphor of what that lion's den looks like in real time. I never got that.
Okay.
I never got that until I got to New Beginning.
And so what did that look like for you in your personal life as things began to be chipped away, or as your longing to be better? How did that begin to manifest?
I lost my mind a little at the beginning. Wanting my husband and my son to come with me. I want you to do this with me. I want you to experience what I'm experiencing. By this time, I'm married again to Stacy. I wanted him to experience it, and so I know one Sunday. And this is even before I got to New Beginning. I just was hungry for, I need answers.
Okay.
I need answers, and I went to church because I thought that's where I was going to find my answers. And I remember one time I was going to church and they didn't want to go, and I remember I just went completely off that whole, and it was like they just got dressed like, let's just go. God, she is going. And they went, and I remember the pastor preached like, how are you showing? You want them to come to the Lord, but you showing that? And I was like, oh my gosh, I did that because I didn't show anything that was anything that
was
resembled
nothing godly.
Jesus.
It was just this is what I want.
You need to go. I mean, that's what I did, and I remember. It's funny now because Dave's like, yeah, you remember that day? But that was my control thing too. Yeah. I have an issue with control, and I want things to move in a certain way. And if you're not moving quick enough, my husband says I still struggle with it. It's stuff that I have to constantly work on. Because I mean, I'm telling, since 10 years old, it's been 40 years of this.
Right.
42 years of this. So it takes a lot.
Right.
To change until you really are cognizant of what you're doing.
How did you know your change was happening? When did you start letting go of the club and letting go of and clinging to healthier things?
When did I don't even...
Just
the club got
fell
let
off?
go a long time ago.
Just fell off?
It just fell off.
Because you started focusing on maybe more positive things?
Yes, that and just focusing on my walk. Didn't even know I had one. I didn't even know I had a purpose. I didn't know my why. When I started moving into my why, and I started really surrounding myself with people who were positive. I surrounded myself with people who had their own relationship, and then I was envious. I was like, well, darn, I don't have that kind of relationship with the Lord. You know, I don't hear him speaking to me.
Right.
But it's because I was in the way. I was in the way.
And it sounds like you, sounds like something inside you was beginning to quiet so that you could hear that there was another way, so that you could want better. So continue telling me like what the chipping away looked like and the healing process.
It really, sometimes to be in his will, you have to be inconvenienced. So I had to start inconveniencing myself.
Okay.
And I had to start putting him first. And when I start putting God first, a lot of stuff started falling off.
Okay.
It started falling off of me. It started looking different.
Okay.
My life started operating differently.
Okay.
I saw myself helping, and even though I was doing it while I was teaching, I still teach, but I can look back and see different situations or circumstances where I was always trying to help someone where I could see them, because nobody saw me,
Right.
and I wanted to make sure that these kids were, I see you and I see where you are. Talk to me. Didn't realize that might be my purpose. I never knew my purpose was in my pain until Bishop told me that.
Okay.
Until Bishop told me, your purpose is in your pain. And me actually making the connection that I did not go through all of that for nothing.
Right.
There's got to be a reason that I'm still here.
Yes.
It's got to be a reason why I didn't take myself out.
Right.
Because I did have an attempt of that.
Okay.
I attempted that the week before my brother killed himself.
Really? Okay.
So it's always, why am I still here? Why was my walk so difficult? And I think that's really what pushed me, like, I gotta get some answers. I need to know my why. What am I supposed to do, God?
And what did he tell you? What have you learned?
He told me that I need to be still. I have to let things come to me. It's not all about what I'm doing. I always thought I had to prove that I was worthy. I always thought I had to be a certain way. I had to view things from a certain perspective. I had to go along to get along. He taught me that I didn't have to do that. All I had to do was walk in his will.
Yes.
And the people who are supposed to be there, they'll be there. The ones that'll fall by the wayside, they'll fall by the wayside. And it will not stop your walk.
Right.
It will not stop your growth. He taught me that I had to start dealing with my trauma. I had to really go back and deal with the abandonment piece. And although nobody picked up that baton, your daddy gave it to you.
Okay.
So go back.
Okay.
And Bishop always says that what they left it in the earth. Go get it. I went back and picked it up.
Okay.
I did a whole vision board on what my daddy did for me. Because it had to be a visual for me. And it's a focus for me.
Yeah.
That and my purpose. It keeps me grounded.
Okay.
Are there little things I have to work on? Most definitely. Most definitely. Writing my book helps. It's cleansing for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Helping other people. I'm getting to that point because I have to feel like I'm worthy enough to give them that.
Okay.
Like, why are you so important? You know, I still hear that in the back of my head.
Well, yeah, work on shutting that down. Because who you are and what you bring to the table, if you just allow you to be you, they get what they need. Sometimes I have found that we try so hard to be what somebody needs that we get in the way. Just be. Just be. You are that. And like you said, we have to continue to try to shut the voices down. And we got to shut them down.
The voices and the memories. He talks to me in my sleep.
He, the Lord?
Because my mind goes too fast, I think. And I think it's something, he's like, you only gonna shut up long enough when you sleep. So I know Bishop was just talking about that's when he gets everything because he couldn't sleep after the surgery. And I was like, that's what I got to start doing. Instead of just going back to sleep, I got to say, okay, Lord, what is it that you're trying to tell me? What direction are you trying to send me in?
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us today. If you've been blessed by today's show, feel free to let us know. And if you'd like to sow into this ministry, become a sponsor, or contact us, you can reach us at 803-221-0169. Or you can email us at the ssbbshow@gmail.com. Let's continue this journey together.